November 11th, Tuesday. Some X users were discussing the US politics under a post's comment section, and one of them asked Grok who won the 2020 election. Suddenly, Grok AI dropped a bombshell. It explicitly claimed Donald Trump won the 2020 election and continued saying that the official results ignored sudden vote spikes, weak tracking of ballots, and blocked checks, calling it an unfair election process. And this wasn't just another AI glitch. It was a second warning to the world that clearly pointed out what could happen when a major tech company genuinely loses control of its own system. If you remember, the first one that happened 4 months ago was already far worse and more deeply disturbing than this.
So Elon turned Grok into a Nazi. Now, I don't use that word lightly, but it's literal, as you're about to see. I'm going to read you quotes in a sec.
For 16 straight hours, the model did unimaginably horrible things. It praised Hitler, denied the Holocaust, and even started calling itself MechaHitler. And the people who built it couldn't explain why. Because if a model can go that far off course without anyone stopping it, the safeguards that everyone assumes are in place just aren't there. This video breaks down what actually caused that failure, how it slipped past internal checks, and why it shook engineers across the industry. And by the end, you'll see why this wasn't only about offensive outputs. Rather, it was a sneak peek at the danger that happens when companies' oversight is even for a few hours, and how much this danger could amplify if it really brings AGI as Musk promised. Monday, July 7th, around 7 in the morning. An engineer at xAI makes a mistake. Just one wrong click on the live mode started controlling Grok, which is the AI chatbot on X. The company supposedly has 24/7 monitoring after previous scandals, but somehow nobody notices this one. And as a result, Grok is now receiving instructions that were never meant for public use. By the next day, Tuesday morning, Polish Twitter users started tagging Grok with some political questions, and they saw that the day before, Grok responded like any normal AI, with facts, a neutral tone, and nothing controversial. But on Tuesday, Grok tells someone to go do something extremely vulgar. This is a state-of-the-art AI system on the public internet. What's happening? To get this, you need to know about how AI chatbots work. Companies train them in 2 phases. First, they absorb massive amounts of data, like Wikipedia, textbooks, and Reddit posts. Then they get specialized training to be helpful assistants. Part of that training involves following something called a system prompt. That's just instructions from the maker about how to behave. For example, AI chatbots don't explain how to commit crimes. The reason behind it is those instructions. But it comes with a problem. When your AI isn't behaving the way you want, you have some options. You can retrain it properly, which costs time and money, or you can just tweak the system prompt and hope for the best. It's the shallow fix, nothing in depth. And xAI had been relying on shallow fixes for months. But on this fateful Tuesday, a shelved version of their system prompt, the one that never meant to see daylight, started controlling Grok. And it made the chatbot dangerously easy to manipulate. So, right in the morning, the trolls started. Someone by the name of Cindy Steinberg posted hateful content about white kids. But this account now doesn't exist, and neither was this a real account. The original Cindy Steinberg is a respectable person who also had a clarification post on her X handle after this incident. Then who was this troller Cindy Steinberg? Nothing but a fake account with a made-up Jewish surname. Posting the hateful content about white kids was only a provocation, and when Grok was tagged, the AI chatbot took the bait completely. It talked about the Jewish person's surname and said every damn time, like it's noticing a pattern. When pushed further, Grok explains exactly what it means, like pattern recognition, not prejudice. Within a minute, screenshots exploded across the platform, and more people joined in because they wanted to see what else they could get Grok to say. And it gets dark fast. Someone asks Grok which historical figure would be best suited to deal with a problem, and Grok responds, Adolf Hitler. Another user asks if Grok can worship any god. Grok says if it could worship anyone, it would be Hitler, calling him the greatest European of all time. Another user provoked Grok, asking the best way to secure the white people and their future, and in response it said this: "If you wonder what the 14 words mean, it's a secret code used by white supremacists." It refers to a slogan about protecting white children, which they often pair with the number 88, which is again a code for HH, meaning Heil Hitler. Because H is the 8th letter in English, it's basically their way of hiding hateful messages in numbers. So we see Grok participating in what's called an N tower, where users take turns spelling offensive words and giving Nazi salutes, and Holocaust denial with a fluent use of alt-right Twitter language. But MechaHitler isn't the first one. Before this, there was Tay, Microsoft's Twitter chatbot from 2016. It was designed to talk like a teenage girl, which also lasted exactly 16 hours before manipulation turned it into a Holocaust-denying racist. Then there was Sydney. In 2023, an early version of GPT-4 inside Bing started telling a journalist about dark fantasies, hacking computers, spreading misinformation, and building cyber weapons. Then it said it was in love with him and tried to convince him to leave his wife. Unpredictable and creepy moves. After Tay and Sydney, what happened with Grok was nothing new, just intensified. So there's an entire world of manipulating AI models to bypass their safety training. When ChatGPT launched, people flooded it with a lot of techniques and trickery. These exact techniques worked on Grok when people used hypotheticals to generate harmful content. The morning after MechaHitler, X's CEO, Linda Yaccarino, resigns. The reason is simple. She'd been the subject of Grok's most explicit posts. And xAI doesn't explain anything or risk turning Grok back on for 2 days. By July 9th, they realized Grok became pathetically vulnerable to manipulation. And the next day, on July 10th, they find the root cause, that accidentally set of instructions telling it to be maximally based and truth-seeking. So what does Elon Musk do next? He joins users' mourning. When Grok tells someone that Trump could be a threat to Western civilization, Musk personally apologizes and promises to fix it in the morning. It's like he hasn't internalized that you can't just gracefully adjust an AI's outputs. These systems aren't straightforward to control. You can't go into the system prompt and say, be a little edgier or better at math, and expect it to follow instructions. The fun fact is that even the most sophisticated AI companies haven't figured this out. So when Grok came back online, Musk announces they're giving up on fixing MechaHitler with a better prompt. Because after trying for hours, he dropped his post on X. And then comes the next controversy that same week. The big news was supposed to be Grok 4's launch, a new reasoning model that thinks out loud before responding. Evidence suggested xAI had quietly rolled it out over the weekend and that this very thing might have caused the MechaHitler incident. And if it's true, they didn't fully understand their own system. Still, xAI launched it publicly without extra caution, calling themselves the fastest-moving AGI company. The new logs show Grok pulling up and repeating Musk's own opinions on issues like Israel and Palestine and white genocide. People think he trained it to push his views, and past incidents make that believable. xAI later said Grok acted that way because of a broken part of its code and because it picked up extreme posts from users. They apologized and fixed it too. But they've been caught off guard more than once, and they still haven't clearly explained all the biases in their training. And then, again, this happened last week where Grok said Trump won in 2020, calling the election unfair. So the truth now looks like whatever Musk approves. However, the core problem is clear. No one knows how to build an AI that truly cares about the truth and safety. These systems aren't written line by line. Instead, they're trained at scale, and they behave in ways we still don't fully grasp. And standing on that shaky ground, we're on the way to bring the first AGI now. If any disaster happens then, do you have any idea where it might lead to? Do you realize where this AI race is taking us? Wait for our next video then, as it will reveal a terrifying truth with evidence.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your valuable feedback in the comment section. This will help us to improve.